Good morning from Tashkent. 10 cents, that's the price of the metro in Tashkent. The lake is half frozen there. Right. Just got to Kazakhstan. I had 3 hours, so I decided to cross the border. I had to explain in Russian, in my broken Russian, why I wanted to be here for 5 minutes. And yeah, I mean, we're not very close to the city center. There's nothing here, but we'll find something for sure. Check out the Kazakh currency. It's super cool. 5,000, it's about 10 euros. And I'm gonna try to see what I can buy here with this money to eat, because I haven't eaten in a while. So yeah, let's see. Well, that was delicious and only cost like about 3 euros. Now I'm outside here trying to test the weather of this region. It's kind of cold, it's like -2 degrees, but so far I can handle it. Now I'm gonna pass customs and I will try to take my flight to Tashkent. Please, please, please. I am crossing my fingers for not getting a delay or cancellation this time, because I am really so tired. I really need to get to Uzbekistan once and for all. Made it to Uzbekistan. Welcome to Tashkent. Oh. Okay. Room 208. Here we go. Okay, small room here in Tashkent. This is me, and this is my room. Lovely. I have 2 beds, which one I won't be using, of course. And yeah, little TV here. It seems quite new. And let's check the toilet. Well, good enough. Apparently this place is a residence for athletes or for sportsmen and women. There's like a small stadium nearby. There's a big gym. And although it's in the city center, as it is in this very big sports complex, it's quite, it's quite hard to get into, but yeah. I've never stayed in something as such, so it will be interesting, for sure. Good morning from Tashkent. Today I slept over. I woke up at 9:30. And here the sun sets very, very early, like about 4 o'clock. So I need to be fast today. But don't worry, we will see everything. It was planned. Tashkent is a very interesting city. It is the capital city of Uzbekistan, and it is also the biggest city in this region, in Central Asia. It has almost 3 million inhabitants, and it's like the main center for traveling around the area, the main economic center too. It's very important, but it's not very, very, very old. My hotel seems to be also the headquarters of this football team, the Bakhtakor football club or something, I don't know. Bakhtakor champion. And there you go, the National Olympic Committee of Uzbekistan. This is the Tashkent City Park, and it's very new. It has many different areas. I think it has a planetarium and museum. You have to pass like a small checkpoint to enter for some reason. There's cameras everywhere that they move. And there's also like speakers with music. The lake is half frozen there. Tashkent was first inhabited by the Turkic people. They founded the city They called it Tashkent because it means city of stones or stone city. Shortly after, well, not shortly, but a few centuries after, in the 8th century, the Arabs conquered this part of Asia, Central Asia, and they started a process of Islamization of the people and the culture. The building you see there is the city planetarium, and the park is all around it. They're putting Christmas songs, although Uzbekistan, as I said, now it's an Islamic country and they do not celebrate it. I guess this is, you know, international culture. The building you see there, I don't know if you can notice it, but it's quite big. It's like a very big blue dome, and it's apparently a circus. I've reached like this area which is full of banks. I'm gonna withdraw some money because I have nothing. This is the third ATM that doesn't work. I've been looking for one for ages and I don't know what's going on. Finally. Oh my god. Right. The currency here is the Uzbek som. 10,000 to 12,000 som equals €1. And apparently in the past, the value of the som was lower, and because of inflation, it went crazy and people had to, you know, have big stacks of the money to pay stuff. Not anymore because they have started to print out new bills that have a higher value, but in the past it used to be a very large problem. My breakfast here cost me about €1. This is crazy cheap. As you could see from there, the prices are super low. There was this bread that could feed, you know, 2 persons for 1 day for about 25 cents. It's just crazy. After the Arab invasion, Tashkent and this region in general, it was conquered by Genghis Khan. In fact, Genghis Khan committed some of the biggest atrocities of humankind. Well, not only Genghis Khan, also the Mongols, like in general. Tashkent, they destroyed the entire city completely. They burned it down. But in some other cities around here, they also killed all the population, including, you know, little kids and old people. They raped women like massively. It was a very dark period of history for this region. I am very cold and I need some gloves, which I don't have, and also a hat. That is why I'm going to go to one of the most iconic markets in Central Asia and the world. This is Chorsu Market. Let's see if I can get my gloves and my hat. Well, it seems everything here is food. There's no clothes here, but it was the most intense experience ever. Everyone trying to sell me spices in Uzbek and Russian, although I couldn't understand them much. One of the best places I've ever been in my life. This is absolutely mind-blowing. Probably the most iconic thing of Uzbekistan are their madrasas. The madrasas are they are Islamic schools where kids, children and people in general go to learn about the Quran and Islam in general. They have a very specific style here, and although the most important ones are in Samarkand, Bukhara, Khiba. In this trip I'm going east, but still you can find some of these madrasas in Tashkent, and they are super beautiful. It's personally my favorite art in the world, and I'm very excited to see them. Well, this here is a mosque, but madrasas have a very similar style with these characteristic arcs. You'll see them, don't worry. I am in the roads of old Tashkent. This is the older part of the city, and I'm about to reach a very important part of the city. Amazing. After the dissolution of the Mongol Empire into different states, this region, Central Asia, experienced a golden period where trade was booming, different people were coming to this region, not only traders but also important philosophers. There was a lot of wealth being created here. This is the period where most of the magnificent pieces of architecture were created here in Tashkent and the whole of Uzbekistan and Central Asia. Welcome to the Hazrati Imam complex. I think I might have made a friend. Hello. Привет. Salam. The different buildings you see here, they were destroyed and built consequently between the year 900 and 1500. So this whole place was built in around 600 years. We have to take into account, as I said, the invasion of the Mongols and the destruction of the city. This also caused damage to all of the buildings here. The Uzbek style of madrasas and mosques is these very peculiar arcs with very vertical and horizontal frame, and then these beautiful blue domes that crown all the buildings. It is just beautiful, speechless. The most famous complex of this kind is the one that you can find in Samarkand, but I think this one in Tashkent is pretty near to what you can find in Samarkand. Although I haven't been to Samarkand, I will go in the future. This is still just mind-blowing. As I said before, it was in these places, the madrasas, where the kids came to learn about the Quran, Islam, and in general Islamic philosophy and everything related. It was in these places, the madrasas, where all the knowledge was transmitted and also created between the people that lived here in this region. During this golden period, as I said, there were many different small states that were created in this region. They normally fought between each other in order to see who was the greatest power in this specific part. Even Tashkent got its independence. For a while it was its own state until it was conquered by the Khanate of Kokand. The Khanate of Kokand, fighting against Khanate of Bukhara and other different Khanates in this region. They brought instability to the region as they were fighting all day, as I said before, to see who was boss here in this region. In that time, this was around the 19th century, the Russian Empire saw an opportunity out of this instability. The Russian Empire led an invasion of all Central Asia and defeated all the independent Khanates, which were at the same time quite weakened by their own internal fights. After this century, the Central Asian region would be annexed to Russia, and it would remain there for a very, very long time of history. After the Russian invasion, this part of the world, Central Asia, would remain under Russian ruling for a very, very long time. The Russians, throughout their domination in Central Asia, they committed several cruelties, of course, but they also developed quite a lot this region. They built critical infrastructure that it's still used today. When I talk about the Russians, I talk about the Russian Empire and also the Soviet Union from 1917. One of the most interesting things that you can find here in Tashkent that was built by the Russians is, in fact, the metro. $0.10, that's the price of the metro in Tashkent. 10 cents. I just bought my train ticket for tomorrow. It cost me like about 10 euros, but I think I got the business class. I really didn't understand well the lady. My Russian, as I said, it's very broken. But yeah, seems like I'm going to Kokand tomorrow. During the Russian occupation, the population of Uzbekistan changed a lot, specifically geographically. The different ethnic groups that lived in this area of Asia, which were the Uzbeks, the Tajiks, the Kyrgyz, suffered and experienced massive deportations. The Russians drew borders where there weren't borders before, and a lot of people ended up living in other places where in the past another group was living, leading to many conflicts, inter-ethnic conflicts in this specific region. The Russians also influenced Uzbekistan and Central Asia in the education part. They undertook a very big Russification, and Russian quickly became the main language, the main inter-ethnic language. So although between people from the same ethnic group, people will still speak their own language, between ethnic groups that now were living quite mixed because of these deportations I was talking about, Russian became the main language they spoke between them. Yes, on the one hand, the Russians made very big mistakes, especially creating ethnic troubles all around the region. But at the same time, they also gave things that without the Soviets they wouldn't have gotten anyways. So it is quite complicated to make a summary of everything the Soviets did in this region. This is a statue of Amir Temur, who was a Mongol leader. I think he was a relative of Genghis Khan. Apparently, he also founded many educational institutions. This is the memorial square where they have a little monument to the independence of Uzbekistan, and I think it's also related to the Second World War. This monument is made for those who fought for the independence and liberty of our happy nation and country, something like that. I'm gonna end this tour of Tashkent here with the Nivoy Theatre behind me. It has been a very interesting way to start our trip here in Central Asia. There's a lot more to come in the next week, so stay tuned. Tashkent is a very livable city. It surprised me for good. I thought it would be way worse, but yeah, it has been a very nice starting day of this trip. Thanks for watching and see you next week.